Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Next Team podcast, episode 36. And we're in the dreaded international break. And as any football fan will find it, I think no one is looking forward to this period of no club football. But of course, we and TNT want to make you guys entertained, and we have a lot of interesting discussions and debates coming up. And in the spirit of debate, we have revived the old series, the big debate, for today's segment. And I have with me Tarun, Arjun, as well as our special guest Mitra Sachi. Mitra, you'd like to say a few words to introduce yourself?
Hello, hi guys. My name is Mitra. I'm really excited to be on the podcast. I've been following you guys ever since its inception, and glad to be here. A bit upset I missed out on the TNT mug during the FPL last season,
Yes,
but we'll
a
we'll
man's
win it
following.
this year and we'll see.
That's
We'll
all
see.
right.
We'll
You
see.
always have another
Yeah.
chance to win a mystery prize this
History
season.
prize.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Looking forward. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to trashing Vikas again, like I did last season. So,
Thanks. Unnecessary,
yeah.
but
So.
thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It was
Yeah,
good.
but
It was a
who
good,
do you
good
support,
season.
by the way, just for our
Oh yeah,
Spotify users? Yeah,
yeah. Man,
yeah,
Man
they.
United, always. Yeah. So I didn't have a choice. I grew up as a kid, and my dad would always be watching United. And one day I asked him. I said, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was like, what if I want to support some other team like Liverpool or Chelsea? And he said, yeah, sure, support whoever you want. Just don't live in my house afterwards. So, so okay,
Wow.
United it is. So
Yeah, I can
yeah.
see why you didn't take up that offer.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't. You chose
Yeah,
right.
parenting.
Your dad raised you right.
yeah, yeah. He did, yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So for thanks Mitra for the introduction, and for today's debate, the topic will be which signing will make the biggest impact, and we'll be narrowing our scope to the Premier League itself. And before we begin the debate proper, Tarun has a few messages. Message man, take it away.
Guys, if you're watching this or if you're listening to this, we do urge you to follow us on Instagram so that you can so you can stay updated with all our latest content. And we are there at the Next Team SG. Also follow us on TikTok. Our memes man DK is working hard to bring you new content. We are also there as the Next Team SG. And also do follow us on Spotify and do subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on both these places as the Next Team podcast. It will really help us out if you do that. And all our links can also be found in our description. And back to you, Vikas.
Yeah, thanks, Tarun. Okay, so let's begin the debate proper. Maybe our guest Mitra Sachi can kick things off. Who is going to be the biggest, or rather, who's going to make the biggest impact in the Premier League?
I think firstly, this season's been really interesting. I think it's been the craziest close season transfer window of all time, actually. You see huge people like Messi and Ronaldo and Lukaku all swapping shirts, right? And the
Yeah.
interesting thing to note is that everyone's going, seems like the big guys are all going for free, right? Even
Yeah, in a
like
way.
Mbappe will be going for free, right? I mean, Messi and Ronaldo went for and Ronaldo didn't go for free, but such a cut price, right? And it's crazy to note that. Talk about the Premier League specifically. I think obviously the big name signings will be like Ronaldo and Lukaku and Rafael Varane, and so it's really looking very interesting. Surprised Liverpool didn't make any huge signings, and because they have a pretty strong squad. So Spurs and Arsenal also kind of stayed put a little bit. Arsenal spent something like 150 million. So hopefully
Yeah.
their scouting system works. Hopefully it works. I'm not too sure.
Hopefully.
But yeah, and I think Man City are pretty gutted to lose out on Harry Kane. But yeah, I think the big signings, Ronaldo, obviously. I mean, man, yeah, he'll do well. I mean, he brings something so different to the dressing room, and I think he'll be a huge inspiration for the younger players, and someone to look up to. But I think for me personally, I think the signing that will be the biggest impact will be Rafael Varane. Actually, I think
Mhm.
as you can see with Liverpool when Van Dijk came in, right, or Man City when Ruben Diaz came in, it really shot up the back line so much, and attack wins you games, right, but defense wins you titles. And I think Varane will have the biggest impact. He's a proven winner. He's got a mentality, and he knows what it takes to win league titles and Champions League. So I think he'll be the biggest impact for United.
Yeah, I think he summed it up nicely. I think he covered almost every team, and he concluded with Rafael Varane. Well done. Yeah. Arjun, what about you? Is it going to be Ben White?
Absolutely not. Okay. I mean, I hope he does well. I mean, we did spend 50 big ones on him, but I mean, Varane was one of my high top picks, but I would have to say Lukaku. The reason why I say that is Chelsea. I think they have the coach right now to win them the big boy trophies. Let's say, and what they were missing was a clinical striker, and I think Lukaku is like that final piece of puzzle. If you look at all the other positions, right, they're all shot up. They're all either shot up by an experienced player who knows how to put in consistent performances, or like youngsters who have 8-10 years ahead of them and they're already performing at a very high level. Players like Havertz, Mount, even Werner as a winger. Yes, he doesn't finish the many chances, but I mean, he makes it work. And their whole team is just stacked with quality. And Lukaku is like the icing on the cake, I think. And yeah, I mean, he's gonna back. I don't see him like going below 20 goals. That's how good he is. And yeah, I see them as very strong title challengers. So I think he's going to be the key.
But Ronaldo did outscore him in the Serie A last season. So
yeah,
Do you think in that sense, Ronaldo may be a more of an impact player than Lukaku?
Yeah, he's definitely up for debate. It was either him or Ronaldo. But the reason why I say Lukaku is, I don't know, maybe it's because how bad Arsenal are, but I like just how dominant he was in that game. And like his physical presence is, it's second to none, I think, in the league. With Ronaldo, I think he's at that point of his career where he's just looking to score goals and he's just looking to occupy the right areas in the box. So there's the question of whether when you're off the ball, will he be able to keep up with the rigor? I know he's in tip-top shape. He's physically, one of the fittest players on the planet. But at 36, there will be questions. But I wouldn't put it past him to answer those questions quite formidably this season. This is why, for me, he's number 2 on the list. But like I say, there's not much in it. Lukaku, Ronaldo, I think they're both pretty amazing signings. Yeah, so that for me is Lukaku, but just a bit only.
Okay, good point. Tarun, what about you?
I think it's very obvious, guys. It's clearly going to be Konate. Right?
Yeah, I knew it.
I mean, it wasn't even. Why do we even have the debate to begin with? Honestly,
no, I'm kidding. I don't think it's going to be Konate. I think it's a good signing, but it's not.
I think it's a very good signing. Yeah,
it's not going to be the most impactful. I'm going to agree with Arjun on this. It's going to be Lukaku. I would say that striker is a position that Chelsea could have used strengthening. Actually, they didn't really have to, but they could have used it. And now they have one of the best in the world. And I think Arjun covered most of my points. I don't see him going below 20 goals. And yes, you said you mentioned Ronaldo outscoring him, but also, it's Lukaku, and he's playing for an excellent manager who I'm sure knows how to use him in the right way, and that's going to be a pretty big factor in his success as well. And let's not forget, his spells at every other club before this were very good, except one. And that one club wasn't his fault, really.
Yeah. I don't even consider him a flop there, to be honest. I think he did pretty well. It's just that he wasn't in our plans, and I'm honestly glad he wasn't in our plans because I like the way we are playing right now. I don't know if Mitra agrees with me.
He's a top scorer. I think he was a top scorer for United one season. I think he's a fantastic player. His hold-up play is brilliant. He's fast. He runs like a bullet train. A guy, if defenders see him, they panic, they pee in their pants. He's that kind of player.
Can't blame them.
I'm glad. Yeah.
I've seen him live. I went to the Old Trafford for a Champions League game, just coincidentally, and bro, he's huge.
Massive,
he looks like a heavyweight playing against lightweights. Like if I had to make a comparison to boxing, he's just and he's not the same player he was at United. He's much more complete player.
He's more lean. To begin with,
he's much fitter. He's much fitter.
I think he had a digestive issue or something. He weighed like 105 kilos in United, and back in Chelsea, he's like back to his. He's now like. I know maybe the photo is a bit. I feel it's a bit too inaccurate because like maybe the angle at which they took makes Lukaku bigger than he actually seems. So it seems like he actually underwent a massive weight loss. I think he's still very, very strong. He's still very huge, but he's just
more lean, I
slightly,
think.
he's just more lean. I think his physicality is enough to still allow him to play that target man role, which I think he's one of the best in the world as a target man. Maybe who comes close? Would you consider Kane as a target man? I don't know. Maybe he plays.
I think
He's more maybe to me he's more of a deep lying forward, but
He
I
could
think
play target man, but
he could
I
play.
think he's almost like a second striker right now. It's like
I don't think
if
Tuchel will
anything,
play as a target man. Yeah.
if anything, like
Tuchel won't
Son
play
is like the striker nowadays, with Kane
True.
feeding him the ball. He's like
Yeah.
more of a second striker.
True. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. So okay, yeah, for myself, right? Okay, I was actually going to say Varane, but yeah, I think Mitra covered it quite well. Or to add on the Varane point, right? So like let's take a look at the Wolves game, which was the most recent game. We were absolute shite, like dog shite. Our midfield was, oh my god, it was a horrendous performance, but we got over the line somehow because Greenwood is Greenwood is better than Saka. Just putting it out there.
I don't disagree. I think he just wasn't helped last season. The circumstances around his personal life.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
But
I don't doubt Saka as a player. This is me taking the piss, but
no, I just think he's like the best young player of this generation. I'm not even like in terms of England.
Greenwood?
England. Yeah, Greenwood.
Wow, okay, that's a big claim.
So you've forgotten about Kylian Mbappe there.
No, I say England.
In England.
Like
Fair.
English
I think
players.
that's a fair call.
I think Saka comes close, but I think Greenwood, in terms of natural ability, his two-footedness,
Sancho?
everything about
Not
him.
Sancho? Not Jadon Sancho?
I think Greenwood has a higher ceiling than him, honestly.
Okay.
Just
Interesting.
the way.
Thing is, Greenwood has goals in him. I don't know about Sancho.
Yes, true.
Not
That's
yet.
true,
Like,
yeah.
it's yet to be seen. At least I feel like there's a lot of potential just yet to be unlocked. But yeah, on that point, where I was coming from for the Wolves game, right? We were absolutely overrun in midfield. Fred and Pogba. I mean, Fred, don't get me started with Fred, lah. I mean, oh my god, it's like one secondary school kid playing with like 21 other like real men playing football. You know, like this one secondary, you can just you can
was that
spot the
bad,
weakling. It was damn bad. It was so bad. Honestly, and
It was
I felt
dreadful.
bad for him. Yeah, I feel like
But
the problem with Fred, right? He works only in a double pivot. If let's say you have like McTominay or some other holding midfielder, you cannot have someone like Pogba, who is more of a creative player. And I mean, okay, don't get me started on the tactics on that game. I don't want to go into too much on that. My point being is that despite being overrun in midfield like that, right? Varane was the only one that I would say Maguire had a decent game, but Varane I thought had a very, very solid game for a debut. Like it was quite. I would say his game was overlooked in a way. People were excited to see him debut and stuff, but he wasn't the talk. Greenwood was the talk for that game because he got us the winning goal. But I thought Varane had a very, very good game, and his experience and class showed. I feel like personally, I believe he is like probably the missing piece in the jigsaw. Even with I believe with Varane, right, we don't necessarily have to play the double pivot anymore, and because of which we can probably commit ourselves to more free-flowing attacking football with the likes of Ronaldo up top finishing for us. Ronaldo, I think no matter what, he guarantees you at least 20 goals. And I feel like for us, it's a massive boost, yes. But I do believe that goal scoring hasn't been much of a problem in recent years for us. I would say more of our leaky defense. And because of which, Varane, I believe, will make a much bigger impact in terms of I mean, shutting at stop. I mean, I don't expect us to concede as many goals, which like Mitra said, defense can win you league titles, which is what I see Varane doing. So yeah, I think Varane is my pick. But yeah, again, Ronaldo, I'm a big fanboy. I have a poster in my room, as you guys can see. Yeah, I mean, I'm hyped as I'm going to watch every single game because of Ronaldo. I do believe he might still end up as a top goal scorer. It's going to be interesting this season. We have Lukaku, we have Kane, Ronaldo. Who else is going to be up in the running? Maybe Aubameyang, I don't know. Salah, yeah.
Crazy that you didn't mention him.
He's a man. Yeah, he's Salah's. Yeah, goal scoring is
I
insane.
mean, it's just me. Sorry, I think Salah is a very, very good player. I think he has a lot to offer. But I mean, coming to the topic of signings, right? What about Liverpool though? Like you guys, in terms of instead of signing players, you guys have tied down your major players for 5-year, 6-year contracts. Do you think that's a good move for Liverpool?
I mean, it's a good move. Contract extensions are very important, but it's not something that you have to do in a transfer window, you know. So like really, I think the only reason that it was done now was to make sure we don't complain that we didn't do anything in the transfer window. Like you can always extend a contract mid-season or
Yeah.
anytime there's no transfer window, but it kind of just worked more as a distraction away from the fact that we didn't sign anyone except Konate. And I mean, I will say that Konate is a damn good signing because that was pretty much our problem area last season where we ended up playing Chris Williams and Ned Phillips for so much of the season. It was dark times. But I mean, obviously now Konate is one of the things that we did, one of the moves we made to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. But at the same time, like we still lack quite a lot of depth, especially right back. We only have Trent. We don't have a solid backup right back. Attack, we have the front four, which is Salah, Mane, Firmino, and we have Jota. And like after that, our backups are just Minamino and Origi, which is not quality at all. So we could have used some backup in attack. In midfield, we are okay for now. But yeah, I don't think we addressed enough of our problem areas in this transfer window.
Okay, that's a fair point. I mean, yeah, I didn't expect anything much from that. To be fair, I do think Liverpool are just I think if they didn't do this, they have a risk of losing their players for a cheap in the subsequent transfer windows, especially if, let's say, this season they don't do as well because they're lagging behind the transfer market. But yeah, I do think it's a good move on. I mean, fair play to Liverpool, although they had quite a bit of inactivity in the transfer window, they still managed to make it up by securing a number of their players.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you should be looking to do as a top club, and kudos to them for doing that. I have to give it to them.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, Salah still hasn't signed his contract yet at the point at which we're making this video.
Okay, interesting.
Hopeful.
Okay. Yeah, okay. What other teams, what other signings are we missing out? Are we missing out any major ones?
Jack Grealish.
Oh, yeah, big one. Yeah, big one. So, 100 million, is he worth it?
Nah, not at all. I'm sorry. He's a fantastic player. He'll add a lot. But to me, Man City have always been a club who don't go ham on like one player, right? They spread it out. Even their defense is one season they spent like 200 million on defense, but they bought like 3 or 4 players. Now they've suddenly gone and bought like a Galactico kind of thing, 100 million. I don't think I think they were a bit scammed, to be honest. 100 million, I think firstly because it's English, homegrown and all, so there's a premium for that. But if you ask me, 100 million, is he up there at the top? Like who else? Philippe Coutinho, right? He was close to 100 million.
He was
Ronaldo.
He was
100 million.
20, 130, I think.
Yeah, and people like can you really compare Jack Grealish to even other people around the price bracket? You look at Paul Pogba, came in for like 80 million, as well. Can he have the quality to compare?
It might not be a fair comparison though, because you always take into account inflation, and obviously the Neymar transfer has sort of skyrocketed prices. At some point, I think Real Madrid were willing to pay 230 million on the final day for Mbappe. So that is so you have something like that, which was, and the thing is, PSG still turned them down, and yeah, that's how much they were willing to pay. And all Real Madrid need to do is just see out 1 year left in his contract, and they can probably get him for free lah. So it's quite, and they were willing to pay 230 million, whereas we are signing Ronaldo, who is a guaranteed goal scorer, who actually scored more goals than Mbappe in the Euros itself. I mean, that's the proper measure. I mean, the only form of measurement I can give at this point lah, because they are playing in the same tournament. And we got him for what, 20 million, is it? 20 or 30 million, is it?
I think it's like 22 million plus add-ons.
22 million, yeah, around there lah. So I mean, it's just insane the amount of prices that clubs are paying nowadays.
I mean, look at Pep's system. Pep's system. Nobody's assured a place. Nobody, right? Except Novan Aguero going out. Only one who's really, I think, who's nailed on is De Bruyne, right, when he's fit. And maybe
De Bruyne and Ederson.
Yeah,
of course,
Ederson.
Yeah, but you look at the system. It doesn't make sense to pay 100 million for a player, because you've got people who are always in and out, like Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, all these people playing out wide. They're always, that's his idea, to keep it fresh. And 100 million for one guy you're going to use every other game, not too sure.
True. I mean, but to be fair to Pep, I think he's been playing Grealish every game so far, right?
Yeah, so far every game.
Yeah. I think Pep is a big fan of Grealish because of the way he. I mean, to be very honest, I keep seeing Grealish do the same things. To be honest, he just keeps dribbling. Right, he controls the tempo of the game. If Man City play fast, right, he will slow down the tempo. He plays the game according to how he wants. And then usually what happens is he just either he passes it back or he dribble. I mean, okay, I'm sort of. I don't know how to put it. I don't think he's a very fast tempo kind of player. That's what I want to say. I think he's more of like a. He dictates the tempo. That's what I feel like, and maybe because of that, Pep likes him. I don't know. And I never seen him lose the ball before. I don't recall him actually misplacing a pass.
He's a very tidy player.
Very tidy player. He draws fouls. I guess it's an ideal for Pep. I think he's a big fan of him.
Yeah.
How his season will go, I think is yet to be seen. I don't think he's made us. I think he's had a decent start, but he hasn't set the world alight or anything. Because obviously City, they face Arsenal and Spurs. Spurs was a pretty bad game for them. And Arsenal, I mean, at this point, anyone can beat Arsenal at this. Unfortunately, Arjun, but yeah,
It's the truth.
yeah, it's kind of sad to see Arsenal. I mean, I'm supposed to be a United fan. I'm not supposed to take pity at them, but it is kind of sad to see them fall as they have so far. But yeah.
But they're playing Norwich next, so that hopefully
relegation 6-pointer, bro. Relegation 6-pointer. Yeah. So Grealish 100 million.
Like the thing I would say about Grealish is that he is worth 100 mil to Aston Villa, but he is not worth 100 mil to Man City, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good point. Yeah, I think that's a good point. That makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense that they sold him for that much, but why did City buy him? It's
because they can.
Kind of, because they can, obviously. But that's kind of my thoughts on the transfer. I don't think City needed him as much, and they could have used their money for Kane, but they didn't. I mean, they definitely needed Kane more than they need Grealish.
Yeah, I was surprised they prioritized Jack Grealish over Kane.
Yeah,
because if you think about it, they just needed
take the 100 mil, you put it on top of what they were offering for Kane. It's like 250 mil offer.
Actually, on that topic, yeah, I mean, on that topic for Aston Villa, right? They've also actually managed to recoup the Grealish money for like a couple of very, very good players like Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, who else? Off the top of my head, Buendia, yeah. I mean, among these three, do you guys think any names stand out for you guys?
Danny Ings stands out very well for me.
Yeah, true.
I think they can finish top half.
Proven goal scorer. Oh, definitely, 100%.
Top half, Aston Villa.
He scored a
insane goal, right?
Overhead kick. The only thing is, can he keep fit? If he can keep fit, he can easily score 15 plus goals for them, and that's enough. I think that's easily enough for them to finish in the top half.
And
even without Grealish,
keep fit, if you have Ollie Watkins.
Oh yeah, Ollie Watkins. True. Yeah. He's still injured, right? Ollie Watkins. I haven't seen him play.
So. I think
still injured, but when he comes back, and you've got experienced players, right? You've got El Ghazi on penalties, and you've got Ashley Young back in the side now. I think that'll be a big boost. Ben Dua, who can play in the Premier League, he's shown it with Norwich a few seasons ago. I think Aston Villa looking like one of the dark horses. I think they could contend for Europa League. I won't be surprised.
The European Conference League.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah. Spurs are the pioneers for that. What about Spurs? Spurs have made a couple of signings as well, right? To be very honest, I do not know any of them.
Don't think
it's Christian Romero. I think Christian Romero from Atlanta. Yeah.
Like what I mean, I haven't actually seen any of their signings play properly before, so I can't really judge them. But do you guys have any ideas, like who might be one to look out for?
I think I think very similar to Arsenal, they're trying to sign a lot of younger players, players that have a high ceiling, but maybe won't like improve their team instantly. So they signed this guy called Brian Gill in a swap deal with Lamela, I think. And he's very highly rated, and I think he did well at the Olympics, if I'm not wrong. And then there's another guy called Pepe, so I have no idea who he is. But they loaned him back to his parent club for this season. But apparently he's also one of those like huge talents that could, he's those like low risk, high possibility of a high reward kind of signings. And I mean, Spurs, as much as I like to take the make out of them, they are still a very well run club. People will give Daniel Levy a lot of stick because of maybe sometimes he seems a bit dishonest to his players and holds them to their contracts, even though he promised not to. You know what I mean? But he always has a clear plan of how he wants to bring Spurs forward. And you have to say that even though they haven't won any trophies yet, I mean, I think they still have a team to win maybe a cup here or there in the next few years if they can keep on to Son, all those kind of players. Son just extended his contract. They have these young players coming through. So yeah, I think in terms of the transfer strategy, I won't say like one of them is going to be a huge game changer, but in 2 or 3 years, maybe one of those names can pop up and then we'll be talking about them more frequently. So yeah, I think when their transfer plans are more than often they hit than miss.
That's true. Yeah. The Spurs transfer was nicely summed by an Arsenal fan. That was nice to hear.
What do you guys
I'm
think
just
of?
surprised.
That's,
No, Mitra can finish first.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised Hugo Lloris is still there, to be honest.
oh yeah.
He's been there
Good point,
almost close to 10 years now, and I think he's we never won anything. And Hugo Lloris is someone who had who could win things with big clubs, right? And I think if Spurs don't win
World
anything
Cup winner.
soon, they will
Okay, he
see
won the World
Kane.
Cup.
Okay, yeah, he
So
won the
he's
World
like
Cup, but I mean,
he's chilling there, I think.
he's chilling, yeah. But I think you'll see Kane go on a free soon. Hugo Lloris will probably go. Son has signed a contract for I don't know why, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Spurs will be interesting to watch.
Yeah. So I think Spurs are dark horses for top 4, I feel. Like they actually have a pretty good squad in my book. I mean, I know they're top of the league, but I mean, we all know what will happen. They're Spurs. They're going to lose. But yeah, but to be fair, 3 clean sheets in 3 games, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
I mean, Nuno is a very technically astute coach. I think people wrote him off after last season, but I mean, they were missing their best player, Jimenez. He's a much better coach than people think. I think Spurs could surprise a few people this season, definitely.
That's true. Okay, let's go to the North London neighbours, Arsenal.
Oh God.
So I recently watched the interview with Edu. Not the full interview, but like parts of it. So Arjun, where do you stand on that? Like the 150 million being spent so far.
Part of what he said is PR talk, but part of what he said I can understand, but he also has to understand that it's been a long drought already for us without a league title, and like the patience isn't exactly going to be forthcoming from our fans. So they've doubled down on this youth policy, which is very, very risky because we already have a team that, let's be honest, is quite mediocre. And then we bring in 4 or 5 players, young players that could become, I guess, stars for us. But you have to say it's a risky policy. I would have liked a much more like maybe a bit more balance in the transfer strategy where they bring in 1 or 2 proven players to surround like the younger players with quality. And in that way, it's a much safer bet, and also you're much more likely to see the team move in the right direction. Right now, it's much more of a question mark. The only player that I would say that I can tell that would improve us like right now and with confidence, I would say is Odegaard, because I've seen him. He came on a 6-month loan, and our form improved a lot with him in the side. And that's the only, and he's 22.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Even he's a young player.
So even him is he's a young player, but he's a captain. I mean, he captains Norway, so like, yeah, he's a leader. He's a leader that could maybe add a bit more steel into our side.
That's true.
So but most of our signings is like we really don't know. We have to wait and see how they do.
True. I mean, I think Arsenal yet to be seen. Arsenal. I mean, it's a bit unfair to judge them on 3 games. Albeit, I mean, the nature in which they lost is quite. It's quite appalling.
Results for me. It's not results for me because Chelsea and City, I mean, we are probably going to lose those games even with all those signings in, or even if we had made better signings. The gap is quite clear right now. But is the nature of like how we go about like in terms of performance is like there's a defeatist kind of attitude right now where like the players just seem to be going through the motions. I don't really see them playing for Arteta, but like for some reason everybody seems to be behind Arteta at the club. I don't know whether it's because they're desperate for it to work, or he's some secretly scary psychopathic dictator that doesn't allow anything to get leaked out, or I don't know what's going on, but for some reason they think he's the second coming of Christ. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. On a fan kind of perspective, Arjun, so Arteta in or out?
I was out quite a long time ago, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, do you remember the previous season when we went on this like horrendous run, like leading up to Christmas? I was like,
You're 15th,
how's
right,
this
or
guy?
something?
yeah, how's this guy still in a job? To be honest, I was very surprised. But yeah, it seems to me that they have a lot of faith in his ability, and I'm sure that technically he's probably a very astute and like he probably has a lot of knowledge about the game. But it's one thing having that in theory, it's another thing applying it and using the players at your disposal. And so far, the systems that he's tried to use, all our players don't fit that system. We want to pass out of the back. How are you going to do that with Kolasinac at the back? You tell me, it's like starting Kolasinac against City is suicide. In a back three, and he's the main centre back. It's like how do you want me to back that kind of decisions? So like I've seen too much of like poor decision making, poor man management. You know, the problems with Saliba, Guendouzi. I can keep going. Signings of Willian on a 3-year contract. The signings of Cedric on a 4-year contract after he played 60 minutes. So like all these decisions are very mind-boggling to me. It's very hard for me to accept. I just think that he doesn't have much more time, in my opinion. I don't see
fair
much
point.
to-
I think every fan can agree at this point. He's running out of time. But at some
Running
point,
out of time.
even the Arsenal board will lose patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Arsenal board,
Would
they
think
took a
so.
huge risk with them. That's why they want to stick with him. And now they backed him with 150 million. So they're like, so it's going to be a huge decision for them to take. Are they going to risk sacking him early? And then everybody's going to question, well, you just backed him with 150 million. So why are you sacking him this early?
Exactly.
If you're
That's
sacking
true.
him this early, that means you're never confident in him. Right? So why are you backing him? Why not bring Conte before that and back him with like maybe 200 million? So many questions I can ask of this board. But yeah, that's just how Arsenal are right at the moment.
Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah.
I think we've covered most of the clubs quite nicely. I mean, we got our own picks out of the way quite early. So I think myself and Mitra on Varane side, and Tarun and Arjun on Lukaku's side. I think who will make the bigger impact is yet to be seen. Right now, I think both signings are very exciting for both sets of fans. We'll see how the Premier League shapes up. Never know. Maybe Liverpool's tie down of their senior players could be the game-changing move. No one knows. So I think it's been a fun episode. We can end it here, right, guys?
I just want to
Yep.
add, I'm just skeptical about Lukaku because of the curse of Chelsea strikers. We've seen, recently
Fair
Timo
enough.
Werner
I
come
mean, I wouldn't
in,
mind,
dreadful.
I mean, yeah.
Timo Werner
As an Arsenal
and
fan, I
because-
would love it,
oh,
but I just don't see it. He's too
Fernando
complete of a striker.
Torres, oh my god, yeah, he's. I really hope he does well. I also
He's
huge
like-
Lukaku fan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond the stats, it's just the eye test. Like that performance against Arsenal was one of the most dominant
He
performances I've seen
bullied
from-
Pablo Mari, right?
Yeah, I felt bad for the guy. To be fair, he went on a suicide mission by trying to make it physical against him. He got super tight on him. I was like, what are you trying to do?
Oh, this guy
He's
tried to
like-
fight Zlatan, man. Come on.
Yeah, I
You
don't
trying
know,
to
I
stab
mean-
the
Yeah.
guy who fought Zlatan.
It's
Yeah.
only going to end one way. And yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
Yep,
So
definitely.
we'll see. Yep.
All right.
But look
yeah.
out for this guy. Look out for this guy, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano
think
Ronaldo. I mean,
he'll-
See?
we're winning the
off
league,
the
boys.
pitch, on the pitch, I don't think. Honestly, I'm sorry, we're not going to win the league. I don't think Ronaldo's enough for us to win the league. If City had gotten him, maybe then there's a chance of City winning the league. But United, I think, was still a work in progress. I don't think Ole is the right man. You'll see Ronaldo. I
Nice.
remember Ronaldo in 2016.
Ramo is going to
Next,
celebrate after listening to this podcast.
Yep.
next you saw in 2016 Ronaldo standing next to the Portuguese manager pushing the team on in the finals, and I think he will whip Ole in shape a little bit, so that'll be good. Yeah.
Can you imagine they release a training video and then it's just Ronaldo blowing the whistle and then Ole running back and forth doing sprints. I can see that.
What has it come to?
Fantastic guy, this guy. He
Fantastic.
wants to win 200%. I think I'll just end off on a light note. I think some humorous thing. Patrice Evra was sharing once. He went to Ronaldo's house to go play table tennis, right? And Ronaldo lost terribly. Ro Ferdinand hammered him, and then Ronaldo said, "I'm going to practice every day until I become the best ping pong player ever." And then the Patrice was like, "Don't waste your time, man. Just go play the football and whatever." And a couple of months later, they come back and Ronaldo hammers all of them. Right?
Damn.
Hammers all of them. And that just shows how badly he wants to win everything in life. He wants to be the best. He wants to be the most handsome, the most successful, the fittest. 36 years old, he can still hang in the air, 2 meters high. His hang time is incredible, and I think he will only spur the players on the pitch. He'll give them a little hair dryer, as we've seen what Bruno does with the players. And I think he'll keep everyone in check and be a true inspiration.
Yep. nicely summed up there. I think it's inspiration to everyone in the United dressing room. I think with that, I think we're running out of time. Tarun, just take it away with the messages and then we'll conclude the episode.
Yep. Once again, if you've watched or if you listened this far, thank you for your support. And you can please do follow us on Instagram. We are there at the Next Team SG, and you can stay updated with all our latest news and updates. And also follow us on TikTok. We are there at the Next Team SG as well. Follow us on Spotify, and also subscribe to us on YouTube. We are on both these places as the Next Team Podcast, and all the links will be in our description.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Tarun. And thank you so much, Mitra, for joining us. It's been really fun talking to you about United. I love your United bias opinions. It's always fun to have a fellow United fan in the podcast, and I hope you enjoy your time with us.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Not biased because I don't think we'll win the league, but yes. I think it's between Chelsea and City this year, but thanks for having me, guys.
No worries. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and thanks guys. If you listen so far, thank you so much for your support. Do look out for more big debate videos as well as on weekly review videos. And I think 11 September is when the match days resume, right? Again.
Yeah.
So look out for that. Maybe we might have another episode in the middle. Let's see if time permits. We might have. Keep on the lookout, guys. And thank you so much for the support. And we'll see you again in the next episode of the Next Team Podcast. Ciao, guys.
Ciao, guys.
Bye, everyone.